If you're looking for some of the best old-fashioned burgers and cakes in town, Lotta Burger is the place to go for all of your favorites. Lotta Burger, 2260 South 3rd, Memphis, Tennessee, 901-946-2001. They're open Monday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 6:45 p.m. And the items on their menu include single, double, triple burgers, Philly sandwiches, smoked sausage, beef hot dogs, grilled cheese, tenders, fries, onion rings, and more. Call-in orders must be done before 11 a.m. No calls accepted after 11 a.m. Drive-thru is available. Hungry for a burger? Lotta Burger, 2260 South 3rd, Memphis, Tennessee, 901-946-2001. Don't just settle for any burger. Get a Lotta Burger.
Are you tired of going to the doctor with the same issue over and over again and never getting any relief? Are you tired of buying all types of vitamins and supplements, hoping but not knowing for sure that they will keep you healthy? Or are you getting enough of the right kind of nutrients that your specific body needs? If you answer yes to any of these questions, you need a nutritional blood analysis. With a nutritional blood analysis, we can take one drop of blood from a prick of your finger and analyze your body's nutritional needs, nutritional deficiencies, and nutritional imbalances. This analysis can provide an early warning of possible future health challenges so you can make the changes now to avoid the negative outcome. A nutritional blood analysis can be used to monitor a health challenge before and after adopting an approach to restore health and balance. It will also allow you the ability to determine the effectiveness of various approaches to restoring and balancing your health. So don't wait. Make your appointment. Stop guessing with your health. Know what works for sure. 901-602-7063.
Graphic Printing, located at 890 East Range Road in Memphis, a complete print shop for all your printing needs. They do it all: color copy, resume, funeral programs, rubber stamp, full color business cards, wedding and graduation invitations, and more. 30 plus years of quality work and service. They're open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Located at 890 East Range Road in Memphis, Tennessee, 901-345-9294. Graphic Printing. CJU's Appliances, located at 3530 Jackson Avenue here in Memphis, Tennessee. Call them at 901-487-7882. CJU's Appliances has the best prices in town, sales and service, heating and air. Also the best appliances you'll find anywhere in the Mid-South. Refrigerators, microwave stoves, washers and dryers, deep freezers, dishwashers, whatever you need in used appliances. And folks, I'm telling you, they're the best used appliances anywhere you'll find. That's CJ Used Appliances, 3530 Jackson Avenue. All appliances come with warranty. You can call them at 901-487-7882. Again, 901-487-7882. CJ Used Appliances. CNS Motors Auto Sales, located at 2508 Southern Avenue, here in Memphis, Tennessee. Call them at 901-323-8778. CNS Motors Auto Sales has been around since 1984. Go by and see Chris Day for some of the best pre-owned and used vehicles in the city. They have SUVs, minivans, cars, trucks, whatever you're looking for in pre-owned used vehicles. Hey, you can find it right there at CNS Motors Auto Sales. See Chris since 1984. They will treat you right. Call them at 901-323-8778. That's 901-323-8778. 2508 Summer Avenue, CNS Motors Auto Sales.
This is Sergeant Chris Richardson with the Tennessee Highway Patrol, here to explain the Tennessee Hands-Free Law, which is a new state law effective July 1st, 2019. In Public Chapter 412, it makes it illegal for a driver to hold a cell phone or a mobile device with any part of the body, to write, send, or read any text-based communication, to reach for a cell phone or a mobile device in a manner that requires the driver to no longer be in a seated driving position or properly restrained by a seatbelt. to watch a video or a movie on a cell phone or a mobile device, and to record or broadcast video on a cell phone or a mobile device. So, can I still talk on my cell phone while driving? Yes. A driver is permitted to use an earpiece, headphone device, or device worn on a wrist to conduct a voice-based communication. The driver may use one button on a cell phone or a mobile device to initiate or terminate voice communication, and voice-based communication may also be used to send a text message. Learn more at handsfreetn.com.
There we go. And welcome again to Talk Back Live in the morning. It is now 8:07, 7 minutes past the hour of 8 o'clock Central Time, and a very pleasant good morning to you on a Monday morning. Yes, a lovely, wonderful Monday morning, and starting your day off at 65 degrees, and there's some rain in the area, and it's starting off a beautiful day today. Not too hot, not too cold, but hey, it is just right, but yet the rain is out there. Be careful on the roadways as you make your way around the city and around the county, and National Weather Service radar is still indicating showers and thunderstorms pass through most of the metro Memphis area, but there's some showers that are still out there. A lot of rain and heavy rain at times still in the metro area, so you want to be careful as you're making your way around the Mid-South and East Arkansas and North Mississippi. And I tell you what, we have a great show lined up for you today. Hot topics of discussion, news that you could use, local, national, international. And the number to call is 901-213-6020. Again, the number to call is 901-213-6020. And I tell you what, let's get it all kicked off. But before we do that, let's say good morning to Josh. Josh, good morning to you.
Good morning, Bob. Good morning, everybody out there listening, watching, tuning in, all that stuff this morning. Mm-hmm. Another great show we got lined up for you today on this Monday morning, man, ready to get it popping. Cracking, rolling, kicking, jumping, screaming, yelling, all that stuff on this rainy, stormy Monday morning. So, man, definitely appreciate y'all for tuning us out, for waking up with us this morning. And, man, we got some stuff for y'all on today. So, stay tuned. Whoa, indeed. GKP in the building. Man, so once again, appreciate y'all, man. As I always say, be sure if you can share this video on your profiles. It'll be much appreciated. Just hit that little share button on the bottom of the screen. Also, hit like or whatever if you are enjoying the video as well. Also, if you don't know about our social media, be sure you follow it. First of all, on Twitter at TalkBackLive. That's one word, at TalkBackLive. Also, Facebook.com, TalkBackLive with Bob and Josh. Like our Facebook page, check us out there, as well as Talkback Live Network on Facebook, and WTBL Talkback Live Network, the station's page as well. So y'all be sure and check out all of our social media platforms. Also, don't forget the Spreaker app, Spreaker. It's not speaker, it's Spreaker with an R, Spreaker. Free download any device, any phone, any tablet, any desktop that you have. Just download it, and once you download it, just search for Talkback Live. It's one word, Talkback Live, and you can listen to us live as we are on the air, and check out our podcast and everything else. Podcast episodes not only on Spreaker, but also on the Spotify app, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, so on and so forth.
All right, and yes, we are in all those places, and glad you can join us this morning, and I tell you what, let's get it all kicked off. Josh?
Yes.
Let's get it rolling. (901-213-6020) is the number to call if you want to talk with us on any of the topics that we're talking about today, and you can hit us up on Facebook as well. Good morning to all of you coming in on Facebook, and keep it coming, keep it coming. All right, ready to roll. And in the headlines today, we've got well, it's been a big weekend around the Mid-South, around the state, around the country. That's right, in news, sports, weather, a lot of big things have been going on, and I tell you what, we have, I guess, some of those things in our topics this morning.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely.
Yes, indeed, and we're going to be discussing that. And by the way, yes, another headline today. We've got, not that GKP. We may not even talk about that, but we may.
No,
well,
probably not.
Let's talk about it. Hey, Josh, we have in the headlines today a topic that we wanted to discuss. It's about a high school, West High School security assistant fired. And he was fired for a legitimate cause, or was it a bad decision on his part? What is going on with the firing of this security officer?
Well, it's a great question because a lot of people wondered the same thing. So, it's a school called West High School. And the man that's a security guard at that school is a black man. And he got fired from his job. Now, there's a lot of outrage from this particular firing because he had built quite the connection with the students at that school and everything else. Mm-hmm. So, it is all centered around the N-word.
Wow.
Around the N-word.
Nigger.
Yes.
N-word.
Yes. And the black man that was the security guard that got fired from the school got fired for saying the N-word.
Well,
okay. The story will clarify, but this is the setup. Is fired for saying the N-word to a student at the school. So, all that being said, what's that justified? Well, you have to hear the special circumstances around this story because it's not the way you may think it went, to say the least. So, very interesting story. And I will say this, the students at that school are not happy about the firing. But first of all, we're going to play the story for you.
All right. And, folks, hey, your time to chime in on Facebook.
Yeah.
Whatever you think about the story while we're listening. And we'll be back after 213-6020 is the number to call. And take a listen to this.
A former West High School employee is filing a grievance with the Madison Metropolitan School District after being fired yesterday for using the N-word. It comes after several incidents of staff members using racial slurs in front of students in the past year. Madeline O'Neill is live at West High School with why this time the staff member says it's different. Maddie?
Charlotte Marlon Anderson was a security assistant here at West High School for 3 years. He worked within the district for 11. He has 3 sons, one who is president of the Black Student Union here at West. Several students, supporters of Anderson, and Anderson himself say he never should have been fired because he was just using the N-word, asking a student to stop calling him the N-word.
That's part of my passion. I love kids.
If anyone knows the power of words to light up a student's world, it's Marlon Anderson.
I always say things like, you the best, you the greatest.
It's one word he said.
I do not if it's fair.
That got him fired from his job as a security assistant at West High School.
I made a conscious decision to address the word because it is an epidemic. Our kids use it just every day.
Anderson says a student who was refusing to leave the school pushed the assistant principal, so he felt it was his job to help. That's when the student said this.
He called me a BITS N-word.
Anderson says no other staff member told the student to stop, and he only said the N-word to tell the student to stop calling it.
You have no tolerance for a word, but yet you allow a student to call me that word over 15 times without correcting that behavior.
It's the zero tolerance policy for staff saying the racial slur that got Anderson fired, a policy he wants the district to look at.
It's lazy. It's lazy.
He says when it comes to using the word, context is everything.
My father was called this word. My grandmother, my grandfather, and keep going on down the family line. We were all called this word, and not one of them could say, don't call me that. I can, and I shouldn't be punished because I have the right to tell somebody not to call me this word.
MMSD's Board of Education president writes in a statement that while racial slurs have no place in schools, quote, we have also heard from the community about the complexity involved, and it's our duty to examine it. In the meantime, Anderson sees the power of his students and supporters in on social media, now helping him.
Regardless of whatever the future holds for me with the MMSD, I know that I touched a lot of kids.
She says she's requested a review of policies in relation to cases like this. She says she wants to make community discussion. The Madison Teachers Union is representing Anderson in his grievance, requesting a hearing to appeal his termination. Now, that can be a long process. In the meantime, some students are planning a walkout from West High School here tomorrow morning. Of course, the story we'll keep following.
Madeline O'Neill reporting live at West High School tonight. Maddie, thank you.
Is this the reason why some students are behaving the way they are? By firing a teacher or an adult worker or security officer at the school over a student saying what he shouldn't say in the first place. And the security officer only tells him to ask him to stop saying the word, the N-word.
Yes.
But the security officer used the word to tell the child,
Don't
the
say
student,
this. Yeah.
don't say this word. Now, was the security officer wrong in using that word to tell the student not to use the word? Well, in some cases, if you don't tell a person something and then you tell them to stop doing it, and if you don't tell them what it is, then they can't stop doing it. Or using the N-word just by people saying, don't call me the N-word, do you think that's good enough? Well, I don't know.
Man,
what do you think should happen to the student? I mean, the security officers have been fired, and Josh, later on, we'll hear about the students at the school are very upset about the security officer being fired.
Yeah,
and they want him back on the job.
They responded in force.
Yes, these are the students at the school. So, so what should happen to the student that uses the N-word at the school? Should anything happen at all? And sounds like to me the security officer was fired, but there's no nothing that was done to the student.
No, I don't know what happened to the student because, like you said, he kind of started the whole altercation. Assistant principal.
Whoa. Who pushed these assistant principals?
The student did.
The student?
Yeah.
Okay, so the student.
They said that it started, like you said, it started as one of those things where the security, which the guy that got fired was,
right.
He came because a student pushed the assistant principal.
Okay, physically. So the security officer was coming on defense of the principal.
Yeah, responding to a disturbance.
Yeah, disturbance. Yeah. Well, I mean, the student was pushing the assistant principal.
Yeah.
So the security officer come to help out, and in coming to help out, he gets fired.
Yeah.
He tells the student, he gets fired by telling the student, don't call me the Nigger word.
And just to set up like a little bit before then.
Yeah.
So imagine you get called over there, right? You're breaking up the situation. Then the student, which I don't know if the student was black or white, but the student then calls the man, hey, man, get your B.A.
B.A.
B.A.N. So, and then he said the N-word repeatedly to him. And then the man said, hey, look, don't call me no more.
Right.
So that resulted, and I'm assuming after the situation, in the security guard getting fired because of that.
Wow.
And you saw in the story here, he's like, I don't understand the fact that you're sitting here watching this kid call me this repeatedly, and you don't say anything. But when he responds,
right, in
telling him not to say that anymore, he's fired.
Wow. So what? Okay. So what should happen to the student? Anything?
Well, I mean, students should. I mean, for pushing the assistant principal, it should be suspended, just based off that alone.
Yeah, but
a student can't just come out cursing folks out, man.
He can't do that. But are they too weak on these students these days? I mean, seems like they, they just don't enforce the rules on students these days like they used to, and like they should. What do you think, folks? Leave your comments as they're coming in, and 901-213-6020. And if you want to leave your comment or talk with us about it today.
I mean, because this is an insane situation. A man gets fired for nothing. Essentially, he's getting fired for no reason.
Well, he did say the N-word.
I mean, to me, in that situation, you're not just saying, the N-word just to be saying it. You're telling them to, hey, don't call me that no more.
Right.
And why, people need to look at circumstances and situations. You don't enforce saying it. Then, the man wants to defend himself. Now you want to enforce it and fire the man.
Yeah.
That's insane to me.
Well, I guess they fired him because he's an adult and he should know better than to use the word, whether he feels he needs to correct the student with it or not. It's not to be used. It's against school policy. Irregardless, if the security officer knows it's against the school policy to use the N-word, then don't use it as an example to another student to let the student know what I don't want you to call me. I mean,
I guess it would.
He probably broke a principle here, a law of the school that the school does not permit for the staff or anybody that's part of the staff at the school to use. So by doing that, they did what they had to do, was fire the security officer. But now what they do with the student is another story. Does he get suspended for using and calling everybody the N-word and pushing on the assistant principal? I mean, hey, that's bad enough right there. So, but I don't know. You know, these days they're real light and easy on students. And then not only that, not just students, but it seems like in society these days, parents and everybody are, for the most part, yeah, they're too light on the kids. And, you know, unlike when I was coming up, you know, they grab several switches and put them together, or, you know, and other things that they use. I'm not going to say, but it would make you do what you're supposed to do and behave.
That's what they ended up arrested nowadays.
Oh yes, yes. If the parents did what you know, some parents did back in the day, yeah, they would be in prison. They'd be shot by the police. 901-213-6020, or leave your comments on our Facebook. In other news, Josh?
I'm reading a couple comments here. GKP was talking about, come on, Josh, we know what color the student was. LOL. And then he says he was supposed to say, don't you call me that word again.
Oh, so yeah. Don't call me that word again.
Yeah, literally say that
instead of saying, don't call me the N word again, and say the word.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I think the security officer overstepped his boundaries by saying that.
That's crazy to me, though.
I know, but sometimes when you get upset, you have to be careful.
That's true.
How you respond back to the individual.
That's true, but this is what I'm saying, though.
But the security officer, I understand what you're saying. The security officer, first of all, came to the defense of the assistant principal.
And not even just that, though. It's something I didn't bring up before.
Yeah.
It's that when it would have been different, right? If he came up and said, look, no, you're, you know what I mean? If he came and called the kid the N-word or whatever the case is, right?
Right.
If he'd have called the kid an N-word in defense of himself, he said, no, look here, or whatever, then that would be wrong.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? If he come up there, say, nah, man, like that. But the way he said, man, don't call me no more.
I guess it all depends on now.
It's the context, right?
Yeah, but then again, it depends on how did the security say this. Mm-hmm. Did he come up and say, hey, you don't call me that, and then use the word.
Yeah.
You don't call me well, even that. Niger. I mean,
we could.
If he said it all depends.
Say it if we wanted
right,
to.
But it all depends on how the security officers. Did he say it in an angry fashion? Did he say it?
How can he not be angry?
Well, I mean, that's why
he just cussed him.
Well, I mean, that's why That's why he had to control himself.
Yeah,
he had to realize, okay, I'm a security officer. I'm a professional person here at the school, so I can't respond in the way that the students acting. I can't respond to it that way.
I get that.
I have to respond to it in a professional way. Mm-hmm. And so by not doing that, the school immediately jumped on the security officer and said, hey, you're out of here. Mm-hmm. That's unprofessional. Okay? I think that's the reason why he got fired, because of the unprofessional way he probably handled this situation.
Yeah.
That's probably what happened here. I don't know. But 901-213-6020. And, folks, what do you think? Do you think that security officer should have been fired? Do you think they should let him back on the job? And there's some students at the school, not some, but there's a whole bunch of students at that school that are saying, hey, we want our security officer back out on the job. Mm-hmm. Now, these are students at the school.
Yeah, exactly.
Tamara, welcome to the show. Frankie, welcome.
What's up, Frankie?
And other people.
Larry.
Yes.
What's happening?
All right, all of you coming in. And 901-213-6020 if you had comments on this.
Now, and
in other news, I was going to say.
Yeah. In the second half of this story, just to finish that, is the students. Now, the students came out.
Okay, yeah, right.
And they protested the actions. And it's interesting. It shows how popular he was with the students, evidently.
Yeah.
To the point that hundreds of students Literally.
How many?
Hundreds.
Hundreds of students
Walked out, straight out to school and held a peaceful protest to reinstate the security officer.
Yeah, and by doing that goes to show you how much of a relationship he had with the students. And I guess he was well liked by the students.
Yeah.
Josh, let's take a listen to what the students have to say and how they handled this situation. The security officer being fired by this school.
I'm going to let y'all know this, the irony of all of this, which I think is pretty cool, is the leader of the Black Student Union is the security officer's son.
It's the security officer's son.
Yeah.
Yes. And let's take a listen to this, and we'll be back after this. 901-213-6020, and you ready to roll?
Yeah.
All right, take a listen to this, folks. We'll be back.
A powerful movement by hundreds of students and teachers got the district's attention for firing former security guard Marlon Anderson. Students organized a walkout, and teachers marched alongside them.
It hurt me, because he's a good man.
Anderson's son, Noah, has been a key leader in all of this, hoping that today's movement would spark institutional change.
They seemed very open, and they were accepting of our opinions. And from what they told us, they said that they're going to bat for us, and they're going to try. They're going to work for it. So I trust them.
For several hours, as students marched outside, making their voices heard. Several students sat down with Interim Superintendent Jane Belmore and Board of Education President Gloria Reyes about bringing Anderson back and reevaluating the zero-tolerance policy that got Anderson fired.
They have brought to our attention things that we had not thought about. It was a powerful day today for us all.
While no decision was formally made, Noah and the students and staff behind him are hopeful that their message was loud and clear.
I believe that this is the start of something great, of America that will be great, that has not been great yet, but it will be.
District staff said they are speeding up the process to get the community answers as soon as possible. A community that is hoping their beloved security guard is welcomed back with as much anticipation as his son says he has to return.
He did say that he will be willing to return to the school for all y'all. He loves y'all.
All right, what do you think, folks? 901-213-6020. Do you think the security officer need to, or should be returned back to the school? Do you think he should be rehired? And in a lot of cases, when places like that fire you, you know, they have to swallow their pride in order to hire you back. It may be a process. Can they, will they, should they rehire this security officer since all these students are in uproar in a sense? Well, they had a peaceful, rally or whatever they call it.
And I got to say, too, it was very, no, we didn't have the video up there, but it was very integrated. You know, it was a lot of white students out there.
Yeah, lots of white,
black students, all sorts of people. And there were some teachers out there as well. Mm-hmm. So, GKP, I know you said they didn't go back to class, but some of their teachers were out there walking with them, which was interesting. Now,
the students have a right to protest, don't they?
Yeah.
I mean, even though they stepped out the class and on behalf of the security officer, this just goes to show you how much this security officer touched these students.
Yeah.
For the students to be able to get out of class and to march or to have a peaceful protest and in favor of this guy, hey, I think that's very good. I understand the students need to be in class, but this was on behalf of the guy that they loved.
Yeah.
And this just shows you, again, how much effect this security officer had on these students.
It's funny. I see he also says, this ain't no free Mr. Clark moment. If y'all remember Lean on Me, Mr. Clark got arrested. You know what I'm saying? The students were outside the jailhouse. Free Mr. Clark.
Were they outside the jailhouse or were they on the steps?
They were on the steps. You remember he was looking out the window.
Yeah.
And he out of his jail cell and he saw them out there.
Yeah. Well,
and Benson, his lawyer, he wasn't Benson on the movie.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Should the students stay in their classroom, behave on behalf of the security guard now, or did they have the right to protest? Were they wrong in protesting, leaving their classroom? Was that rebellion? That's the way some people would look at it. The students were rebelling. They left the classroom and protest against something that the school had already made a decision on. Do you think they were rebellious? 901-213-6020. All right, Josh, in other news, the Tennessee Volunteers coach snatches a player by his helmet.
Yes.
What is going on with this story? What is his name? Coach, he was at Alabama. What was his name?
Jeremy Pruitt.
Jeremy Pruitt. What's going on with Coach Jeremy Pruitt at the Tennessee Volunteers? And it was all on television.
Yes.
It was clearly seen. He was talking and he reached up and snatched the student. It was brief, though.
Yeah.
Now, snatched him by his helmet and grabbed him. But was it wrong for him to do that?
Yeah. Now, it's not
or was that just chastisement?
Well, there you go. But
okay.
what I'm gonna say is, it's not an audio story or anything, but we do have the clip here that I can play while we're talking about it. But you all remember Tennessee and Alabama. It was a game that not a lot of people were expecting to be competitive or anything. To be honest with you, it was a game that Tennessee was expected to win, and they did.
Alabama was expected to win.
Well, yeah, Alabama was expected to win, and they did.
Yeah.
In a certain fashion there. But I'm going to tell you something. Tennessee had a chance, more than a chance, to win that game, to at least make it competitive. It was 28-20. And I'm bringing this up for a reason, leading up to the situation here.
Right.
And Tennessee makes a drive in the third, or it was the fourth quarter there, when it was 28-13, I believe. And if Tennessee would have scored, they'd have made it 28-20. And that makes it an entirely different ball game with 7 minutes left. Tennessee's at the 1 yard line. Outstanding drive to get to that point. And
here it goes right here.
Yeah,
Watch this.
and remember,
there he goes.
Remember that's it's a delay, so that's already played a couple of times.
All right, okay, yeah.
So what I'm saying is they don't get it. It was a 4th and 1 sneak. And Jared Guarantano, who's the quarterback for Tennessee, tries a quarterback sneak in 4th and 1, and he fumbles the ball in the end zone. Alabama picks it up and runs it 100 yards for a touchdown, ends the game. Now, the controversy is in the actions behind Coach Pruitt pulling of the helmet. And as y'all see there it is again.
I don't understand. One thing I don't understand here is why Coach Pruitt yanks his helmet, and before he yanks the helmet, he looks the other way and snatches the guy by the helmet. You got to understand, when you snatch a person by the helmet, especially when they have it on their head, it can cause some injuries. It all depends on how hard you snatch it.
Injuries?
Yeah, I mean, you snatching a person by the head. I mean, his head has to follow.
I mean, he playing football.
Wherever the head goes, the body will follow. Hopefully, but if this quarterback player didn't expect that to happen, then that could be that could cause an injury.
I mean, I'm sure he didn't expect it to happen. I know that's definitely for sure.
No,
but what I'm saying is he's a football player.
It doesn't matter. There's certain no. I know when I was coming up, I played football and they were rough, But the thing about it is,
you told me about a coach that hit folks on the back of the head.
But still, well, I mean, that was light. That was nothing to be hit on the head. They probably don't let you do that anymore. Hit a football player beside the helmet when they playing football. If they do, somebody let me know. But at any rate, watch. He continues to snatch. You can see it over and over as we show it.
Yeah.
He snatches the face mask there of the player, and that he's standing straight up there. See now how he bends, the student bends there when he pulls and snatches the helmet. So that was unexpected. It can cause an injury. So should Coach, I don't understand. Like I said, he looks off the other way and then snatches the helmet. What was his purpose on this? I can see he's upset, but, man, I mean, should he have done that, though? He comes out and meets the player on the field with his finger pointed at him, and he is really diving into this player.
I just don't see the big deal.
Okay, I don't know.
I just don't, and that's just me. Look, first of all, he fumbled the ball. He fumbled the ball trying to jump over the pile.
But you don't see the big deal in him snatching the helmet?
No, not to me, no.
Okay.
I really don't. It would be different if he was grabbing his face mask and he's screaming in his face like this.
Yeah.
That's a whole other thing. But he took two fingers and pulled them toward him. Now, I will say this. I'm looking at different social media reactions during the weekend. Mm-hmm. And there are a lot of people that say, hey, look, if a coach would have done that to me, and I literally saw this, folks say, if a coach would have done that to me, hey, we would have got smacked right in the face.
Well,
you know what I'm saying? They say if you do that to a player, you can't expect them to not retaliate. Now, I don't know if I agree with that.
Yeah.
But,
it was a brief moment that he did it.
It's brief.
Yeah.
He's upset. He's ticked off.
Yeah. But, just because you're ticked off don't mean you can grab someone by the helmet and then just snatch them like they're a dog or something.
Yeah. I understand. But, I wouldn't do it if I was a coach. I wouldn't do it personally.
Well,
but it's football.
Yeah, you're right. But you got to be careful how you do certain things these days. Aren't we too soft on student athletes these days? Are we too soft, especially in football?
Absolutely.
Are we too soft? Now I wonder. Now I'm pretty sure during practice, this is something that a coach probably would do at any given time and not even think about it.
Yeah, something light.
Or even go over to him and just grab his helmet and say, "Hey, come here, young man."
I'm sure it's
blah,
probably
blah, and then let him go. But
I'm sure it's probably worse than this.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Maybe there's some policy today that let the coaches be a lot easier and like babies. Like treat these kids like babies. That's probably a common thing at practice. And especially getting hit up beside the head, where you hear the ring of the helmet, all in your ears and all that kind of stuff. So does that help make the athlete better by being treated like this? Or was that really just nothing? It didn't amount to anything. It's a lot of uproar behind this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Should Jeremy Pruitt, are people calling for his job? He's already in trouble as far as losing.
Yeah.
But are they calling for his, and this, something like this is not really going to help. And, and by being the coach here, he's already losing. He's already in hot water with the school. And then is this something he's really taking out on the student here because of what he's going through with the school? And this is another thing and a reason why he coaches, especially this guy here, Jeremy Pruitt, should have been more careful about this because, hey, you're already in hot water with the school about, you're not doing, the program's not effective and it's not successful enough.
That's true.
And then you do something like this. This, stuff like this may help get him out the door.
I don't know, man. I think stuff like losing a bunch of football games it's going to be the main thing.
Well, this doesn't help.
It doesn't help. That's what I was going to say. I do think this, on top of what's been going on, is not going to help the situation. But I'm going to tell you something. Here's what he said afterwards. And look, I think Jeremy Pruitt's done a terrible job. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I don't think he's done a good job with the football program. There are certain things that you should see with a new head coach. Before you can do that, there's certain things that you should see from a head coach when they take over a program. You should see improvements in discipline and not turning up and stuff like that. You know, and they have gotten worse in all those departments. And despite the fact, let's look at Derek Dooley. You go back to Derek Dooley days at Tennessee. Yeah. I mean, good grief. As bad as that was, they had a lot of competitive moments. Mm-hmm. They had a lot of times they could have beat some big-time teams. But because of stupid like this, they lose. And then the topic doesn't become the game. It becomes this stuff. Mm-hmm. You know, the fringe stuff going on outside of the program.
Yeah.
You know, and even with Tennessee losing, the story should have been, at least for them, that, hey, they competed better than people expected. But no, the story is Jeremy Pruitt grabbing the helmet of a player because he was angry.
Okay, so you think by that story being the headline in most cases, that, you know, that's, I mean, that should not be the top story?
Well, I mean, no, I mean...
you mean the top story should be Tennessee plays Alabama close?
I mean, it should be if this didn't happen. I'll put it that way.
Okay.
I'm just saying if this situation with the helmet didn't happen, you know.
Well, all right, what do you think, folks? Yeah, 901-213-6020. And I think this is going to... Do you think this is going to go away soon? I don't think it's going to go away soon. I think it's going to...
Well, there's only so much you can say about it.
I mean, well, what I'm saying is, the reason I don't think it's going away soon is because I think Jeremy Pruitt may be fired. And they're going to use this over and over and over again. They're trying to find something bad to put on his, if you can call it a resume.
Hey, he's done a good job of that
on
himself.
His bad page.
Yeah.
To get him out of
an excuse.
Yeah, an excuse to
to get rid of him.
To get rid of him.
Now a couple comments here.
Oh, we got several.
Yeah. Start with the first one you see.
The student needs to go to that's TKB. Greg said, "Good morning, everybody." Good morning, Greg. He said, "This is a big nothing burger."
Yes.
What do you mean, Greg? What do you mean a big nothing burger?
It's not an issue.
I don't know about that, Greg. Have seen this often at the high school and other levels.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, Verdell. Also, Greg says, and that wasn't even the play called. He changed the play himself.
Yeah.
The quarterback did.
So that's why the coach was upset.
Well, now here's the thing. Now, and I said it on social media that I heard that was the case, but then I went back and watched the post-game press conference. And what Coach Pruitt said was that they did call a quarterback sneak. Mm-hmm. But what the problem was, Guarantano jumped over the pile when he wanted him to go in up the middle.
He wanted him to stay on the ground.
Stay on the ground and get low.
Rather than jumping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when he jumped, he just jumped right into a Bama helmet.
Yeah.
And the ball popped out, you know. So that's why he was ticked off. He feels like he tried to, call his own number and be a hero.
Yeah.
Instead of doing what was asked.
Wow. Oh man, I mean,
but
he should have followed instructions.
But what the call was still a quarterback sneak.
Well,
and technically he ran it, so he just didn't do it the way he wanted it.
Well, he needs to do it the way the coach says.
Yeah.
If the coach wants him to run the football and stay on the ground instead of jumping, and then I know a lot of quarterbacks and running backs are tempted to want to jump over the line when they get right to the goal line and they feel, hey, this is the only way to get in. I could jump and, then over the pile and get through. But, it's tempting to do that because that seems like it's an easy thing to do.
Yeah.
But if the coach wanted him to just run the football in on a quarterback sneak rather than jumping, that could be very tempting to a young man. Your coach said run the football, keep it on the ground, keep your feet on the ground, and then all of a sudden you see some people there and you think, hey, I can take off in the air, and I know I'll get this. I know if I jump in the air, I'll have everybody proud of me. My coach will be proud of me, and everything else. Now, if he had a touchdown in the air, do you think Jeremy Pruitt would have done this?
No. No, he'd be too happy.
Yeah.
He'd be way too happy. You know why?
Why?
Because they're playing Bama. And Jeremy Pruitt came to Alabama.
Yes, he was an assistant coach down at Alabama.
And you know Coach Pruitt wanted that game badly. If y'all watch some of that game, which I know this was on, at the same time Memphis game was, at least a little bit, but the Memphis game was well over by the time this happened.
Yeah. But
my thing is, if you watch the game, Jeremy Pruitt was acting insane the entire game. He was running. He was screaming.
What's he overhyped?
I mean,
I don't know.
I mean, I guess it's up to your determination, but I know he was very borderline. He was screaming at everybody, the whole coaching staff. You can tell they wanted this bad.
Well, I mean,
and they honestly, I think they could have got it.
Well, yeah,
Alabama gave them so many opportunities.
But I mean, for him to change his behavior and the way he acts during the games, it probably threw everybody off. Probably threw the players off, the coaches off, because they're not used to him behaving that way. And by doing that, this is probably the reason why they lost the game. Hey,
entirely possible.
But you don't change your attitude, your way of doing that. I know it was your former coach. That you were playing against, and you're playing in Tuscaloosa, and they're in Alabama, and you probably, I don't know if he was raised from that area or whatnot, but I know he wanted to win this game, and coming in, Tennessee knew that they had no chance of winning against number 1 Alabama.
Yeah.
And to get upset, and to blow up, and to, just cause a chaotic scene on the sideline, which Coach Pruitt did throughout the game, I mean, that was uncalled for. Because, I mean, you were not expected to win. I mean, if I were him, I would have been, his same old self, coming out being strong if he wanted to be, but yet not overbearing. I think he was overbearing in this game. I think he went against the grain, and I think everybody said this is not the same man. They didn't know how to take it. They didn't know how to respond. And some of the players didn't know this crazy act he did here, yanking this guy's helmet. I mean, this guy went back on the sidelines probably thinking, wow, what's wrong with Coach?
Well, I'm going to tell you something. You know what I think, though? Yeah. I think Coach could care less because I think he knew he was benching him. And I would be shocked if you see Guarantano again in the Tennessee uniform. I think he won't see him there. I think he's going to transfer.
Wait. Whoa. Why would he transfer? Why would he transfer?
Well, look at this.
Just because of that?
Look, well.
I mean, you're talking about is one of the reasons why some people are saying parents these days and teachers are too soft on kids.
Well, I
mean, this kid, we need to tell a kid like this, hey, man, you need to stick in there regardless of what happened. Yes, it was a bad thing he did, and coaches can work it out with players and just hang in there and continue to move on, and you'll never know what the coach is going to do with this guy. You think he's going to be benched the rest of the season?
I don't know. Well, all I know is I think, when I saw him on the exercise bike afterwards, right, he was back there, he had the helmet off, and he looked really ticked off. And I think Coach Pruitt, unless Coach Pruitt apologizes later, I don't see that relationship getting repaired anytime soon. I think. Well,
do you think the coach needs to apologize, or do the coach just really need to just be the coach? Say, hey, those things happen out there, and I had to chastise you for that reason. Blah blah blah. You know how we do here, and you know how I do as far as coaching you guys. So. But, situations, now we move on from here.
When it comes to college football and college sports, you don't move on. You don't just do that. Like, I think with the way the freedom of these players, you can get on out of there, man. You get on out. If there's a coach that you don't like, you have the freedom to transfer.
That's the easy way out, though. That's the easy way out.
Is it really? Like, look at what happened with Jalen Hurts. you know, you had the situation with Bama. Now, he did stick around that year when Tua took his job in the national championship game. Hurts could have left that year. He didn't, but he still left the next year. And now he's at Oklahoma doing an outstanding job. You know, you talk about Kelly Bryant at Clemson.
Well, he probably, the guy, he probably wanted to wait and get a better school to go to or whatever the case may be. Maybe he didn't have his right choice that he wanted for that particular year to leave Alabama. So,
I mean, that's really going to my point, what you just said.
Yeah.
So. But a couple comments here. Let's see.
Verdell says, snatching a player by the helmet, let me go back, is nothing new.
Yeah, I think you read those.
Yeah. Yes, okay.
I got it.
Greg says, we too soft on everybody nowadays.
That's true. Let me get this one here. Let me see.
Okay.
Kelly says they got to keep Pruitt. Got to keep him Pruitt. Wasn't he like that 6th or 7th choice? Yeah. That's true. There were several guys they were trying to get before him. Ain't nobody beating down the door to coach at Tennessee.
I don't know.
I think he's right. I mean, look at the failures. You go from Derek Dooley to Butch Jones to now Jeremy Pruitt. You know, and then Lane Kiffin before then. So.
I think coaches wouldn't mind coaching at Tennessee now because how long has he been here?
Who, this coach?
Pruitt, yeah.
This is his second year.
Second year. Yeah, well.
I mean, they're already ready to get rid of him now. So I'm just saying, no, it's not the job it used to be. Yeah. I'm going to tell you something. Even though they're in the SEC, and even though there's still potential there if you get the right guy to flip it around, Memphis is a better job than Tennessee is.
I don't know.
The Memphis Tigers is a better job. I don't know.
When you talk about Tennessee, you're talking about a program and the SEC. You know, that's much more prominent and bigger than the
it
conference
doesn't matter.
Memphis is in.
It is.
What,
but
American Conference?
The AAC, which is a very good this year.
It's a very good conference. It's all right. But you're talking about the traditional SEC, Southeastern Conference, has been the top of the pack of all the conferences in certain seasons. You know,
well, that's because people force it.
Yeah,
people force them to be top of the conference. They get ranked so high in the season polls that it's them losing every game before they drop out. You know, like you got Florida, you got LSU, you got Auburn, you got Alabama. All of those teams are in the top 10 to 15. So
Greg says, right, he was supposed to go off right guard between guard and tackle.
Yeah, that quarterback.
And he didn't.
He jumped over the pound.
Yeah.
And Pruitt said, no, you're not supposed to
You can't do that.
Verdell says they the 10th best team, 10th best school in Tennessee anyway. The 10th best. Wow.
10th best.
Wow. Let's talk about the best school in Tennessee and the best back in the country, Gainwell.
I can agree. Gainwell has been gaining.
Yeah, it's
he
amazing.
has been on his game. I like what I see in the kid. But I wouldn't say Tennessee is the 10th best school in Tennessee.
What
I think that's way down. I think you would probably see Tennessee. I mean, Tennessee Volunteers is a big name in Tennessee, and I think their name is above Memphis. Even though you had a Memphis Tiger, but the Memphis Tigers have not made enough noise.
I don't agree
to have the dominance over the state of Tennessee. Tennessee Volunteers have been there. They've been in the playoffs.
Look, here's the thing. They've been to bowl games.
Games.
But all that, throw it in the trash because here's why. When the last time they won a bowl game? I can't even remember. They haven't even been to a bowl game, the Tennessee Vols, in a long time. They're on the streak of not going to bowls.
Okay, what are you talking about? 5 years?
I mean, I don't even remember. I know it's something like 3 or 4. Something
3
like
or 4 years, but you got to understand over the past years that Tennessee has made recognition all these years.
But I'm talking about
3 or 4 years just can't knock off a team out of who they've been all these years.
I understand that. They have a great history. But the Tigers, as of right now, are the better program. They have the better coach. They have the better team.
I agree with you, but it's going to take time.
They probably recruit better.
Yeah, it's going to take time in order for people to recognize who the Tigers are and what they're doing. They've got to be more consistent, and they have not been consistent enough long enough. That's what I'm saying, long enough. If they be more consistent for the next, I guess 3 years, with the program, what they're doing, they get a little better. Then I can say, okay, now Memphis Tiger football is making some noise.
But look, okay, you go back.
You just can't pull down Tennessee just because of a couple of years.
Let me jump in now. Okay, you talk about Fuente, the years of Fuente, then the years of Norvell. You put that together, that's enough time right there.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about going to the Miami Beach Bowl when you started off. Then after that, you win. Before they even had a conference championship, Fuente, I think it was his last year, when they won a share of the AAC title, when they had the big celebration in the Liberty Bowl Stadium with the trophy, and then they went and got destroyed by Auburn in the bowl game when Fuente left before the game. But that's a whole nother thing.
Okay.
And then you talk about Norvell coming in, recruiting is the highest it has ever been for the Tennessee Volunteers. I mean, for the Memphis Tigers. That is. They're just a better team. They're a better team. They're a better program right now. And people won't acknowledge it because Tennessee's in the SEC. Well, now, I will say this.
Okay, Memphis Tiger football is not where they are because of Norvell. They're there because they're there where they are now because of Justin Fuente.
I mean,
he started this.
He started it.
He started it. He started all the.
And that's another
topic. I know it, and he said, "Hey, if you don't support me in Memphis, then I'll go somewhere else. You're gonna have to support me if I do." He made that at a conference.
Ooh,
Fuente.
Yeah.
Okay, he started the movement. He started the flow of the University of Memphis supporting the University of Memphis football team.
No. You talking about Tommy West?
That was Tommy West.
Yeah.
That's right.
I was about to say Fuente didn't do that.
That's Tommy West. We remember Tommy. We remember Tommy West. Yeah. But Fuente came right in behind him and did the job.
Larry Porter. But
Larry Porter
came in behind Larry.
Yeah, he came in behind Larry. But Fuente came and started doing the job. Mm-hmm. Okay. Then he leaves and then go Virginia Tech. Now this guy takes over, which nobody wants. Nobody wants. What's his name?
Norvell.
Okay, thank you. Nobody wants Coach Norvell anywhere. I mean, people were wondering why didn't he go for the job at Arkansas when they had the opening.
Arkansas didn't.
They didn't want it.
They chose somebody else.
Yeah, they chose. The reason they did it is because they didn't want it. Nobody wants Norvell. For whatever reason, I don't know, but nobody wants Norvell but Memphis. And the reason Memphis is going so well is not because of Norvell, it's because of Fuente and the program he left and the thing he had started, and the momentum just kept going on.
I'm going to put it this way. I don't doubt what you're saying. I mean, Fuente did an amazing job leaving the program where it was. And matter of fact, Norvell did reap the benefits of some of those guys when he, especially guys like Anthony Miller and so on and so forth.
Absolutely.
That were still here when Norvell came. And
that caused other kids to want to come in and play for Memphis.
Yeah.
Because of the reputation they had started to build behind Justin Fuente.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
I will, this is what I give Norvell credit for. I always say this. Is on the recruiting end, Norvell took what Fuente did and he improved upon it. Whenever anybody comes in, because it's not always automatic when a new coach takes over, and it's not always automatic that even if it was good before you got there, that it's going to stay good, or even more so get better. And what Norvell did was make it better. And recruiting, the facility, him being a face of the program, him getting out to high school games. Bobby, we did a whole thing on this.
Yeah.
On AM 730. It was our own little.
Well, I don't even want to go back to that. We have our own radio network.
It's not going back. I
Talk
brought it up
Live
because
network. Yeah,
okay. I brought it up because we were there.
Just say a few years ago.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
No. Look, ain't nobody promoting him. But what I'm saying is, we were there. We ran 30. So, but that ain't even my point. My point is when we were there is when we did an inside situation talking about the high school football programs around the city. And we're going to go to break in a minute. The high school programs around the city and how nobody saw Fuente at all. They didn't see a relationship. They didn't see they even wanted to build a relationship. And a lot of people felt because Fuente was looking to leave. And he did. Right. So that's a criticism I have of Fuente. But other than that, he did a good job.
Yeah.
Norvell is the complete opposite. He's put his roots down with high school football programs all over the city. They know him. They know his staff. They show up everywhere. Norvell flies in with helicopters.
Yeah.
In the high school football games.
Fancy. Okay.
Yeah, I mean that's how
that's good. I'm not knocking him for that.
Yeah,
I think that was good.
That's very important. That's how you build a program. That's how you build a reputation locally.
Yeah.
So it's very smart. So I'm giving him credit for what he's done to that end. Now, on the field, I don't think he's a great coach. I think he's a very good offensive mind. I don't think he's a great situational coach.
So he should be an offensive coordinator or something rather than a head football coach?
I don't know if I can even go all that far. But I just think in certain situations, when there's pressure and when you need to make the right play, I don't think he's always great at choosing the right thing to do. That's it. I mean, and we've seen in the UCF, the 2 games in the AAC championship game, that were blown because of coaching.
Yeah, absolutely.
You go 2 straight AAC title games, and you don't do certain things that got you to that point. Then it just is what it is.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna finish a few comments, and Greg says, "No, Bob, they lost cause Bama just has better talent and better coaching." I agree with that. Alabama's my team.
Yeah.
Other than Memphis. At Humboldt. Well, anyway. That's another... No, not right now.
Yeah.
He says the quarterback was terrible. Kelly says, "No, Mr. Bob, a lot of the Tennessee fans are trashing the young man. And that was before Saturday." Really?
Oh, okay. Wow.
Oh. Okay.
Well, yeah, Guarantano. If you're talking about the quarterback, yeah.
Yeah.
Because Guarantano is terrible. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
He's a terrible player.
Okay.
So.
Well, I mean, that goes to show you right there.
Yeah.
Okay, the fans are ditching him.
Yeah.
Ditching him, and then he disobeys the coach. He didn't do what the coach tell him to do. I mean, so, hey, why would people be upset with the coach for snatching on his helmet? And the coach is in hot water, too. So, wow, this is a tough situation.
Now, I guess the thing is, it's public opinion is in hot water. I don't know who cares because, Philip Fulmer's running the athletic program.
That's true.
So, I don't know, as a old school as he is, I don't think he would have too big of a problem with this.
With what?
The helmet.
Okay.
Yeah, at least to me. I don't.
So you think Philip Fulmer wouldn't call the coach in and talk to him about snatching on the guy's helmet?
Well, he may talk to him because they're forced. I mean, like
because
I said,
of what's going on in the media.
Yeah. But other than that, I mean, I can see Philip Fulmer doing that.
But for the record, they would probably just talk just for the record, or more than anything else.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Hey, it is now 9:08, 8 minutes past the hour, 9 o'clock. A very pleasant good morning to you on a Monday morning. And how was your weekend, by the way? And Josh, we're going to take a quick break here, and when we come back, we'll continue our conversation, and we've got another topic to unfold. When we come back from the break, it's going to be nice. Yes, indeed. There goes the helmet again. Okay. All right, 901-213-6020, and we'll be back after this. You're listening to Talk Back Live with Bob
and Josh.
Again, 9:09, 9 minutes past the hour of 9 o'clock Central Time. A very pleasant good morning to you on a Monday morning. If you're looking for some of the best old-fashioned burgers and cakes in town, Lotta Burger is the place to go for all of your favorites. Lotta Burger, 2260 South 3rd, Memphis, Tennessee, 901-946-2001. They're open Monday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 6:45 p.m. And the items on their menu include single, double, triple burgers, Philly sandwiches, smoked sausage, beef hot dogs, grilled cheese, tenders, fries, onion rings, and more. Call-in orders must be done before 11 a.m. No calls accepted after 11 a.m. Drive-thru is available. Hungry for a burger? Lotta Burger, 2260 South 3rd, Memphis, Tennessee, 901-946-2001. Don't just settle for any burger. Get a Lotta Burger.
Are you tired of going to the doctor with the same issue over and over again and never getting any relief? Are you tired of buying all types of vitamins and supplements, hoping but not knowing for sure that they will keep you healthy? Or are you getting enough of the right kind of nutrients that your specific body needs? If you answer yes to any of these questions, you need a nutritional blood analysis. With a nutritional blood analysis, we can take one drop of blood from a prick of your finger and analyze your body's nutritional needs, nutritional deficiencies, and nutritional imbalances. This analysis can provide an early warning of possible future health challenges so you can make the changes now to avoid the negative outcome. A nutritional blood analysis can be used to monitor a health challenge before and after adopting an approach to restore health and balance. It will also allow you the ability to determine the effectiveness of various approaches to restoring and balancing your health. So don't wait. Make your appointment. Stop guessing with your health. Know what works for sure. 901-602-7063.
Big Graphic Printing, located at 890 East Range Road in Memphis, a complete print shop for all your printing needs. They do it all: color copy, resumes, funeral programs, rubber stamp, full color business cards, wedding and graduation invitations, and more. 30 plus years of quality work and service. They're open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Located at 890 East Range Road in Memphis, Tennessee, 901-345-9294. Big Graphic Printing. All right, and welcome back to the show, Talk Back Live with Bob. It is now 9:13, 13 minutes past the hour of 9 o'clock Central Time, and a very pleasant good morning to you on a Monday morning. Yes, a lovely, wonderful Monday morning, and starting your day off at 65 degrees, cloudy skies, rain in the immediate area, and hey, some heavy, some light. Service rate continues to indicate some heavy and light embedded showers around the Mid-South. I think the worst of it, the thunderstorms and warnings that has departed.
Yes.
901-213-6020. And on the topics we've already talked about, if you want to continue to make comments on those, you're welcome to, or you're welcome to call and talk about those as well. All right, in other news, Josh, Fort Worth residents are still speaking out about the killing of the black woman by police.
Yes.
They're still talking about this.
Absolutely.
And you would be surprised what kind of residents are speaking out about this police killing. And, Josh, what's going on with this story?
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, if you think about it, this has really touched all sorts of people, and this video we're going to play here in a minute kind of details that very fact. So, as you know, Fort Worth is the center of what's going on in the world, man, with the killing of Atiana Jefferson. Killed in her home by police. When the police were in her backyard on a wellness check. They were called down there. And they called a tactical unit to the scene. The tactical unit went around back, flashlight through her back window, and they shot and killed her through said window with her nephew, little boy, in the room. So, the residents there are still outraged because this is the second type of instance that's happened in Fort Worth, Dallas area. So they're starting to speak out, and what's happened here is the city council down to open its doors, which is the council really, where the people can come and air their grievances to the city council. Of course, it's a time limit and all that stuff. But here's one woman that spoke out very strongly. A white woman, as a matter of fact, came up and had a very strong statement to say about the whole situation. So y'all take a look at this.
All right, take a listen with your comments.
I'll be quick. My name is Courtney Miller. I am a criminal defense attorney, and I live in Arlington Heights, District 7. 6 years ago, I was sitting in my house, in my living room, watching a movie with my boxer, Birdie. The lights were on. I have floor-to-ceiling windows in the living room. The blinds were up. Anybody who walked by would have seen that I was home. At some point, my dog demanded to go out, and I let her back into the backyard and went back to watch my movie. About 5 minutes later, I heard her barking furiously, and I went into the kitchen, into the backyard, where I keep my back door open and my storm door shut. And as I walked to the patio, I saw 2 flashlights flitting across my backyard, in the dark, in the grass. And when I walked out to my patio, I had to yell out, "Who's back there?" And the answer that I got is, "It's the police." I am a white woman in a middle-class neighborhood, and the circumstances of my call, the police were called out to a barking dog, not a welfare call, a barking dog. But the police came onto my property. They started flitting around and creeping around stealthily. They did not come to my front door and announce themselves when anybody could have seen that someone was home. Instead, they flitted around and they were stealthy, and it wasn't until I cried out that they announced themselves as the police. I am alive, and is not. And that's white privilege right there, because my biggest fear that night was, what if the police shot my dog? And I'm mortified to say that. But after that night, that was my feelings. What if they shot my dog? If I were a black woman in this city, my fear would be, what if they shot me? And that's the reality. I stand with you for wanting to have a police oversight committee. What I ask of you is that you have a criminal defense attorney present on that committee. We watch body cams all day. We can tell you what's going on, and we can name names. Thank you.
Well, all right.
Sad situation.
All right, there you have it. And what do you think? 901-213-6020, or leave your comments. And Josh, this lady, a white female, says that the police was in her backyard with the flashlight, and knowing who she was, I guess she figured they knew. I don't know.
They don't know who she is. They just know she's white. That's all.
They knew she was white.
Yeah, that's all she's saying, because she came out there on the patio. She even did more than the woman in Fort Worth did. She actually walked out there.
Yeah.
And said, "Hey, who's back there?" Which, honestly, to me, I wouldn't. You know, can you imagine somebody?
They didn't shoot into her house.
No, well, or
like they did the black woman.
Or her patio. Yeah. But honestly, another thing, just real quick. I don't think I'd go out and say, hey, who's back in my backyard? I don't think that'd be a thing I would do. But as a white woman, I guess she feels like, you know, would be less of a chance of her that happening. I don't know. But I think her main point, though, is justified. Because we've seen a lot of situations, and not just with Atiana Jefferson, but other situations involving police and separate situations. We've seen videos of different white individuals that are fighting the police physically. That are, you know, there was one guy that was literally doing karate, fighting a whole bunch of police officers, and they couldn't stop him. You know, he's running, tackling them, and they didn't pull out nothing.
No gun at all.
Not a baton or a pepper spray.
Yeah.
And, you know, to hold him. But yet a black man, if he flinches the wrong way, they
would be feared for their lives.
15 bullets. So, you know, it's a sad state of affairs. But I think it's good to have people like herself speak out and tell the truth about what's going on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, does that really help, you think? A white woman comes out and talks about that type of thing in Fort Worth, Texas, comparing it to the shooting that happened with the black woman.
Mm-hmm.
So this is something that I guess could, I don't know, change things there. Hopefully.
Well, okay, now look, be real. If you don't think it can, let us know. You know, because like I said, I'm not saying it can change nothing. I don't see what it could change. It's a good statement to make.
No, it could possibly change things. It all depends on how many white people speak out.
Yeah, man.
I mean, you know, like some people used to say, hey, I will say that, you know, if more white people would speak out on some things, then things could get changed. Mm-hmm. And they know it, and that's the reason why a lot of white people do not speak out. Mm-hmm. And sometimes black people in the black community, it has been said that they don't want help from the white people. So, I mean, what can the white people do? What can a white person do if he hears from you, I don't want your help. We don't want you in our neighborhood. We can take care of our own business. Okay. All right. If you say that, they're not going to want to beg you to come into your neighborhood and help. But I think more people in the black community, if that's the case, need to be more open, especially in a city like this where you have predominantly black.
Yeah,
okay.
I mean,
and the black crime is high, and you know, hey, can you get advice from the white race that can help in cutting crime in our city? I've heard some people saying, yes, in this city. No, we don't want them white folks. They said other names.
Yeah,
but I'm not going to mention it. We don't want them telling us what to do. We want to deal with it ourselves.
Well, you know what?
How can black people deal with it themselves when we're the target of black people? Black people are targets for black people.
That's true, and that's kind of a kind of a different argument. But even though I see what you're saying, but I will say to that point, I don't want them telling us what to do either. But I do think, you know,
it's not that people telling you what to do. People are people, whether they're white, whether they're black, whether they're Japanese, Chinese, or no knees. I mean, you know, people are people, and they can.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I mean, and all that stuff is correct, but especially when it pertains to white and black.
Yes,
white people do not need to come into the black community as if, okay, let me teach you how to be regular folks. No,
well, because I don't think they would say it like that.
I think they do because it happens sometimes, and I don't think it's intentional.
Teach you how to be regular folks.
Yes, look at what you see white folks act sometimes, and
is that what they're saying?
Yes, that's what they're saying to each other. They're saying, hey, somebody need to teach them animals how to act. And if you come in the black community acting that way, don't expect folks to actually come and listen to you. You know, so that's why I do think don't come trying to teach like you're elementary school teacher trying to teach kids how to act. No. But if you have ideas, and
I don't think.
Well, let me finish the point though. If you have ideas, and if you want to work together to help fix a certain problem, then that's fine. So that's all I'm saying. So I do agree with the point. Don't tell me, but talk to me. Communicate.
Yeah.
Because communicate isn't talking at somebody; it's talking with somebody.
Okay, so you don't think white people will come and talk to the black community?
I think they will. I'm just saying, don't come talking.
But when you get statements from the black community like, we don't need white people, we don't need them in our business. I mean, so what are you asking for when you have that type of, when you make statements like that?
That's kind of ignorant. I think that's kind of an ignorant statement. Anybody that's willing to help, you should let them come help. You know what I'm saying? So I get that point, but it's one of those things. Let me read a couple comments here.
Okay.
JP, as far as the video that we just played, he says, a little bit dramatic, but I can dig it.
Oh, Greg?
Yeah, Greg. Then GKP says, man, that lady ain't talking about nothing.
What?
Just good drama for the cameras.
Oh, come on, GKP. You didn't feel her? I mean, you didn't feel the emotions and, coming from her. You didn't feel any vibes. You didn't feel nothing that was real coming from this white woman. See, this is the type of statements I'm meaning right here. See, he makes a statement, man, that lady ain't talking about nothing. Just good drama for the cameras. Now, for black people to make statements like that about a white person that's really wanting to help in the black community, white folks would just, back away and say, oh, well, we'll leave it alone. But other black people would say, hey, white people are leaving it alone because it's not their community. They're not concerned about the whole entire community.
Mm-hmm.
Why aren't they getting involved? So, this is the reason why. Because black
That's
people,
the reason why, you think?
No, not
because of what he said?
No, but because of people making statements close to this and saying we don't want them white people in our community. They can't do nothing for us. They can't help us. We can handle our own problems.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And this statement here he makes, man, that lady ain't talking about nothing. Well, at least just because she's white. If that was a black lady that said the same thing, GKP, do you think, wow, everybody would have been cheering and jumping and everybody's excited and all of Fort Worth and Dallas black people would have been out in the streets parading her and lifting her up and dragging her down the street and hooray, hooray, hooray.
I don't think
she's
so.
a wonderful lady today.
Well, I don't know, man. See, that's an interesting way to put it. But I'm thinking this. That was why I was kind of saying what I was saying, because as far as what she said was right, and I do think she was speaking passionately. But I think we as black community have to be careful, because people a lot of times will say what they want, they know you want to hear, without action, right?
Well, so you're saying she's saying lady didn't really mean anything, and it she wasn't going to take action at all?
I'm saying it's possible. Okay. I'm saying it's possible, but
well, at least give him an opportunity, and you'll be able to see.
I agree.
But when you don't give them an opportunity, you'll never know.
That's true. And the fact that she's willing to stand in front of the city council, in front of all those folks,
right, does
deserve credit.
Absolutely. I don't think she would do that and not meaning to do something.
Maybe.
Well, you have a
That's
point.
A maybe.
You have a point. Look at all these people in this city. They stand before the city council just to be there. Yeah. But anyway.
Here's another one. By the way, GKP is Bizak.
He's back.
And then Greg says, well, whether we want their help or not, the black community needs help from other sources.
Other sources?
Mm-hmm. Other people, other groups of people.
Other races.
So what do y'all think about that?
Not just white, Chinese, and everybody
else?
Well,
not just black.
Not just white,
not just relying on ourselves.
Yeah. Okay.
GKP has
Rico Wiley, thanks for joining us. Yes.
And he says she shouldn't be talking about nothing either. She wouldn't be talking about nothing either, that is. Mm-hmm. What are they going to do with a big D.O.? What are they going to do? Not just talk, but do.
Well, so what do you think? Do you think this lady meant well?
Do you think she's grandstanding?
I don't think so. I think she's grandstanding. I think she meant everything she said, and I think she really wants to help out in the situation that happened in Dallas. And I think that black communities throughout the country need to give white people a chance if they want to come and help in the black community, rather than just saying, "Oh, that's our problem. We can deal with it." Well, to me, it don't seem like the black community can deal with it because it's higher crime in this city, in the black, predominantly black community, let's put it that way, than anywhere else. And you wanting to move out of the black, predominantly black community, to move out, away from it, and get away from it themselves.
That's real.
So, so hey, I think, can we all just get along? 901-213-6020, 931 minutes past the hour, 9 o'clock Central Time. A very pleasant good morning to you on a Monday.
And
yes,
now we have another statement here from the city council of Fort Worth.
Yeah.
And it's a young black man that took the stand to speak before the city council. And he had, look, to me, and I'm going to talk about it afterwards, so I'll just let y'all watch it first. But here it is. And he had some stark criticism and some strong criticism for the Fort Worth city council and leadership there. So take a listen to this.
All right, we'll be back with your comments. Take a
Good evening. It's a lot of places I'd rather be than be here. Jamal Johnson, 9000 Friendswood Drive, District 6. Mr. Jordan, I'm speaking to you. My fiance and I bought our first house in District 6 because we thought Fort Worth was where we wanted to be. Over this last year, sadly, we have lost faith in this city, its leadership, that's you guys, and especially the police. After the killing of Atatiana Jefferson, I'm ready to leave because no house is worth losing my life or the life of someone who I love. How can I raise a child in this city that is about to explode because of police brutality? The number one threat on my life is gun violence. Am I supposed to ignore this? We have no faith in justice, as it has become obvious that America isn't for us and neither is Fort Worth. How can we hope for justice with the district attorney office led by a known racist when she is backed by the very same police lobby killing us, totally giving her a complete conflict of interest, preventing her objective pursuit of justice for Tate? How can we hope for justice when your very own ex-police chief accuses his former employee, the city of Fort Worth, of racism? Come on. Fort Worth, your streets are a mess, and it's spilling over into the halls. David Cook, that falls on you. You're supposed to manage the city. Is that not correct? The lack of leadership, that falls on you, Betsy Price. How can we feel safe if we die in our homes? Where are we safe? Maybe in a prison or a box, because that seems to be the only place you want us. How can we feel safe if we're being killed for flashlights? Chief Prop, you haven't addressed that yet. You don't walk in our shoes. You're, for the most part, lily white and old. Young black, brown citizens are dying at epidemic rates. Wake up. Jurgis Jordan, you're my city council member. 14 years and you still sit at that same seat like a grand wizard. Betsy Price, your time is up. You have led this city into destruction. You want to spend money on consultants? We want independent citizen oversight. No more money to McKinsey and Deloitte. Also, your resignation for lack of leadership would be nice too. I would call for the FBI, but I have no faith in the federal government led by Trump and A.G. Barr. The system is rigged against us, and I am a walking target. Every day I pull out my my driveway and on my way to work, I fear that I will be killed. The status quo is comfortable for you guys, as you do not live this experience. You don't have guns pointed at you. You aren't being killed for living and breathing in your own home. Your arrogance and lack of compassion speaks volumes. You sit before us, not listening, inattentive, and frankly, disgusting. May you all reap what you sow in the upcoming elections. There is no such thing as a blue life. Every time I see you describe, you desecrate the American flag and further entrenches the belief that you are against us. You have added to the division.
Your time is up.
If you are a human being like the rest of us and realize your badge does not give us the right to take my black life.
Dominic Jones. Dominic Jones.
All right.
Tonight,
son,
an exclusive.
Your time is up, son.
Yeesh.
But he keeps talking. Did he have the right to keep talking when they have stated to him, your time is up? Or
Well,
is this just another thing that happened to black people when they start talking about justice or just us? People want to shut them off.
you know, it's funny. Time seems to tick a little faster, you know, when stuff like that's going on. But, you know, I will say, I'm sure because I know he had a piece of paper there and he was reading from it, and he read it well. It was strong. And I'm like this: if you're gonna come hard, you know, like with hard truth. If you got it, you know, I know if anybody knows, we do about that, and people not liking that.
Yeah.
So I don't have a problem with anything he said. I think it's interesting, and when people get called out to their face like that, I don't know.
Well, okay, here's the interesting thing to me. Just because a black woman get killed by a police officer, all of a sudden now he's ready to move. Why?
Well,
why? Okay, police are killing black people in our neighborhood. I got to get up and move away from the danger. I think he really needs to think about more. You're in more danger in your own neighborhood with black people. Now, am I beating on people this morning? Well, I'm telling the truth. In the black community, you are at more danger in your own community than you are anywhere else. So, to get up and want to move, because I'm not saying they were justified at any length here as far as killing this black woman. Sad situation. But for him to get up and want to move just because, you know, police shoot a black woman in that particular, in Fort Worth, you know, now he wants to get up and move. But what killings like this go on in the black community every day, all over the country. So, but nothing is said too much by black people when we misuse and mishandle and mistreat and kill each other. Okay? But police do it. Well, they're wrong. We want to, you know, hold a rally, or what do you call it? A march. Everybody wants to march. All of a sudden. But you don't do any marches or protesting when another black person puts a gun in another black person's face for whatever reason, or sometimes for nothing, and blows another black person's brains out, or kills him, shoots him wherever. Nobody says anything about that. Well, that's just our neighborhood. We can do whatever we want to each other. No, you can't. I don't want you doing that to me. That's not proper. That's not correct. That's not the right thing to do. Just don't do that. And to blame, to say that, hey, I'm moving out of the neighborhood because, you know, whatever the case may be, a white person shoot a black person, or police officer shoot a black person, and in the black neighborhood, we're killing each other every day. But we don't do anything to stop it because we think it's the norm. We have the right to kill. No, nobody has the right to kill anybody. That's my take on it.
I get that. I do. And that was one thing I was going to ask. And I love that you brought that up, because what do you guys think about the thought process of moving away or being frightened for your life? Because I see this a lot, right? With us, with other black people. And, you know, you're scared. I feel like I need to get away from this because it's happening too much. I think any police brutality is too much.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
But
there should be no police brutality.
There shouldn't. And especially with the protect and serve mantra. I think that's why, kind of answering my own question a little bit, but I kind of think that's why you get the reaction that you do from some black people, because you look at the police as, okay, this is the entity that I can call when I need help. They're going to protect me. They're going to do this and do that. And then this stuff like this happens, and then you're like, man, and you continue to see it happen, and it's like, well, I don't know. You know, I think there's a certain anxiety that comes if you dwell too much on it, at least in my opinion. Because you don't know, you know, you see, it almost, it presents a thought of helplessness. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I don't feel that way. But I think some black people do, because when you see wrongful situations like black people getting pulled over for no reason, you know, and then a tragic situation happens, even when some folks get pulled over, there's a level of anxiety now, especially black men, black women as well, that you get pulled over, you don't know what's going to happen. You know, even if you do everything right, sometimes the wrong thing can happen. And when you look at Tatiana Jefferson, like we talked about last week, she didn't do anything wrong, but the wrong thing happened.
Right.
You know? And I think there's almost a level of anxiety that comes with that for certain people like that.
Okay.
I don't think it's everybody. Cause I don't have that anxiety.
Okay, but what kind of anxiety comes to a black person when they move into a black neighborhood knowing that, you know, crime is higher? Black people kill each other. Is there a type of anxiety?
That's a good question too.
You know,
I don't think they're laid back, because I know people in the hood, man, and you know, they're not. They know what's going on there. Mm-hmm. They know, you know, that depending on what type of hood you live in. But they
deal with it.
Yeah, but
why do they deal with it?
I mean, I do think there's an anxiety there though, as well. You know, but it's kind of different. I don't know what it is. What do y'all think? I'm curious what y'all think.
I'm curious what they think too. What do you think? Why do black people put up with black people killing each other and not put up with a white person killing blacks or in the black community, or police coming at blacks?
I'm laughing at the comment I see here. The GKP says, grandstanding at its finest with the black man too. So he thinks they both grandstanding, the white woman and the black man.
Wow. Okay. Greg has a statement before that. You see that?
No, go ahead.
Greg says, I always find it interesting when black people talk about the ills and plights of the black community and blame white people, etc., but have themselves moved far away from the black community.
That's a thought too. That's a thought too.
And your time is up, man. Okay, yeah. Well, I mean, his time should have been up.
Well, I mean, not. I mean, whatever the clock says, the time's up. So yeah.
No, yeah. I mean, he spoke long enough when they say, "Okay, sir, your time is up."
Yeah.
Your time is up. Okay, what do you have to continue talking?
Well, I don't think it's that complicated though. Like, if you look, he had a sheet of paper.
Yeah.
And I think he was wanting to finish. He was hoping. That's why you heard him talking fast.
Yeah.
And he kind of got paused when the people started cheering a little bit.
Yeah.
And he kept trying to speak so he could finish it. And he just got caught up, that's all.
Okay.
But, yeah. But I do think you got to, hey,
yeah.
It is what it is.
GKP says my feet hurt. For what?
For standing up, I guess. Hey, but read that other one before
the
that.
Man,
the man grandstanding. What's that say? Because I lost it.
Oh, did you lose it? Oh, grandstanding.
At his finest.
GKP grandstanding at his finest.
Mm-hmm.
Laugh out loud. He's running for city council next election. Your time is up, man.
Okay, so you think he's running for... You know what?
Yeah.
I can't help but... That thought did cross my mind when I looked at it the other day. That thought did cross my mind.
Okay, excuse me. GKP says here, Josh, the main ain't moving nowhere.
Okay. But I got it. I got the rest of them, man.
Yeah.
A couple emojis here. Greg is thinking. And GKP has question marks for Greg's thinking emojis. Mm-hmm. So let's see how that conversation goes. But Jet says, PTSD, seriously. You grow up with it and think it's just how it is.
Wow.
You know what? I think that's true, especially when it comes to the hood, right? And a lot of guys, when you were talking about why in the black community, you don't feel like you should move away, because you grow up and you think that's life.
Right.
And if you grow up there, it's like, okay, well, this is just, the way it is. And, like, if you're grown and you see police brutality, or even you grow up and see police brutality,
but how can they think that's just life?
They really do.
When I know guys that
got out of it, but they did feel that.
But how can you think that's just life? And then when police or another white person come in your community and kill another black, all of a sudden there's an uproar. If that's just life.
Well, what's just life is
in other words, what's just life is. We kill each other. Hey, man, that's just the way it is.
Yes.
We're used to killing each other off.
Yes.
That shouldn't just be considered as life.
I agree. But I do think you just...
There's a problem there. Something needs to be done about that. That's a mental problem.
Mm-hmm. Seriously.
It is. When you go around and when, somebody go around and kill their own relative, their own likeness... Mm-hmm. There's a mental problem there.
And think about this, the no snitching thing, right?
Yeah.
Where they don't want nobody to tell on who did it. And if you know a serious crime's been committed in your community.
But we're going to continue to kill each other, but don't you snitch.
Yeah. That's mental.
Crazy. Yeah.
That's honestly, I think what Jet's saying about PTSD is legit.
Yeah.
In communities that are bad enough, and you grew up in that, because even the older folks, they experience the same thing. Greg says, I would say more along the lines of mass Stockholm syndrome, maybe. That's interesting, too. But it's quite a quandary. It's quite a quandary, man.
Yes, indeed. And
got a phone call coming?
Yeah, let me see here. I'm going to put this over here.
Call from.
Y'all already know who it is.
To accept, press 1.
It's a scam. Good morning to you on a Monday morning. It's GKP. What you got on your mind, sir?
I'm ready to talk back live. You know what time it is.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, guys. Listen, I had to jump in here real quick. I know I got a lot of hoopla going on in the comment section right now.
Yeah.
But, I'm one of them that like to keep it 100. 99 just won't do.
It ain't going to do. It's not going to do.
And what we have here, gentlemen, and Facebook listeners, is just, a couple of grandstanders here. Mm-hmm. Let's just face it. The white lady's grandstanding. She sees an opportunity, of course, to, like Josh was sort of saying, kind of give us all a learning lesson and things that could happen, and come on, people. We how long are we gonna just keep falling for the bananas in the tailpipe? Then you get the brother up here, He comes up here, all he needed was me on the organ and a few wows and this, that, and that. He wants to preach him a little sermon, of course, that he wrote out on his paper. And this is the problem that I have with a lot of these things that end up with us as people in debates about, intent. You know what I mean? Whether they mean well or whether they don't mean well or whether they're grandstanding or, whether they're truly for the cause or are they for the camera. And in most cases, whether we want to face the reality or not, it's all about the cameras, because when it comes to the causes, just like Josh said, how many times can we go, if we trace this brother's history that just did the sermon, if we trace his history, how many times has he ever really stood up or touched down or, fought for anything or spoke up on anything prior to now?
Okay,
Same thing with the white lady.
Okay, that's what I was just about to ask. You think it's the same thing with the white woman. So they're both grandstanding on this, just making comments or that they don't mean, and I don't understand that. I don't know. I think the white lady was
serious.
I think she was more serious to me.
I couldn't help but think the tone of her voice, and we'll get GKP back on here.
Call from.
Whoa.
Press 1.
We can't take that call. Anyway, welcome to the show. Welcome back.
Okay, man, listen, don't try to blackball me.
Come on.
Come on now. I was getting into it. This is my grandson. I gotta make it look good.
Okay.
Oh, man. But I feel you, man. It's you can't help but think, and I hate that it's at the point people call it cynical or whatever, but I think it's realistic to kind of think that way, man. And hearing the lady's tone of voice, I couldn't help but think, man, it sounds like, I don't know, but go ahead, GK.
Well, I don't know. I think she's more serious, though.
Well, Bob, listen, we understand that you have to kind of be, you're a preacher, bro. You know what I mean? So we understand the love that you have and the wonderful outlook you love to have in every situation. It's just the preacher in you. But listen, now there are some of us that just let me give you guys this real quick, and I know, and just to show you how our attention span is sometimes really not what we claim it to be. Look how all of a sudden last week we had a story of a pastor out here doing some things and a few barbershop issues that quickly dominated and made everybody forget about the fact that not only were we coming or fresh off of a Tatiana Jefferson's murder and shooting, but then right here in our own city of Memphis, we had a young man gunned down for allegedly stealing a chainsaw. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Same kind of situations. But we are so misguided and misinformed and distracted by things that's what brings the question in as to the sincerity of people when they all of a sudden, one day you're here, then the next day you're gone. I can't believe in that because we're so distracted by things of non-substance and we quickly forget about the things of substance. So that's why I'm questionable when it comes to certain things in front of those cameras. You know what I mean?
That makes sense. I do. And that's one thing, I'm glad we didn't, at least over here, didn't bring up none of that foolishness, man, especially, because it was all over social media,
There you go. Well, you didn't hear it addressed on, when you did hear it addressed on my program, it was addressed in a different way because it's a bunch of foolery and, you know what I'm saying, stuff that as a black community, and I'm saying as a black community, we need to, do better. We need to do better. And Bob, you speaking the truth when you say how quick we are to kick a fuss or want to protest and march and cut up when it's white on black or when it's the police on a black person. But then, that Mr. Bob C that I often call black on black crime exists every day, and we ain't making a hoopla out of that. It's ridiculous.
Right. and it's kind of hypocritical.
Yeah.
So I don't know why we do this, but hey, it's not a good thing.
And do me a favor, can you unplug that and put it back in again? Because I noticed that a lot of times make a little difference there.
Okay.
All right. But yeah, it's crazy, and I think GKP's great point on everything he was saying because you just got to look, man. I mean, you can't be one way and then another way. It's like what they say, double-minded, unstable in all his ways.
Double-minded man is unstable in all his ways.
Yeah,
absolutely. And Greg, if you wanted to call in before we leave the show today, I saw you trying to get in. But we had GKP, the president, on the line. So,
and sorry about that, GKP. I know the line dropped there.
Yeah.
But I think he might have been finished. I'm not sure.
Yeah. But we appreciate him calling in and leaving his comments. We'll take one more call before we get out of here today. You did it twice, Bob. It says, I ain't calling back no more. You see, that's the kind I'm talking about, right?
Black community.
That's the black community.
Nah, man. But, oh, man. It's
no understanding of the brother. Yeah. Anyway. Greg says, well, there has to be a beginning to anything.
Mm-hmm.
So even it were his first, even if it were his first time speaking out to that doesn't mean he wasn't sincere. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, look, to me, I liked his better than the white lady.
Yeah.
Because he was speaking facts, and he was, calling accountability to the city council to their face to a level that a lot of people don't necessarily do.
But a lot of times, black people will listen to white people when they get up and stand before us.
Oh.
And, and then we'll listen to a white person. Well, I'm not going to say we. I'm not going to include myself in that. Black community.
A lot of times.
And not everybody.
Yeah, y'all know what you mean.
You have a tendency when a white person gets up to speak, oh, wow. You see that? You hear that? Oh, wow. I mean, and then the black sister probably said the same thing. About 3 hours before.
And they told her to sit down.
It's time for you to sit down, okay? Yeah. But at any rate, y'all know how it goes. Don't look at me and don't listen to me like I'm all sideways. You know the truth.
Y'all already know what it is.
Yes. And GKP says, I don't get the whole. No, that's great. I don't get the whole distraction theory.
From what GKP was saying.
Yeah, from what he was saying. Yeah. Okay. All right. Hey, I tell you what. That's going to do it for us today, Josh.
Yes, sir.
And thanks for all of you that called in, all your comments, and that came on Facebook and on the Spreaker app.
Yes.
You can download the Spreaker app, Spreaker, on all your computers, laptops, or lap pads, phones, whatever. And you can follow us on there, and that's going to do it for us today. Hey, thanks for joining us.
Hey,
coming up at this afternoon at 2:00.
Yes, TalkBackLive Sports. Later on this afternoon, y'all stay tuned. So much stuff to talk about on today. Y'all know it's a recap Monday, so we're going to recap the past weekend that was in sports. From the Memphis Tigers, going to kick off with that, with the big victory. What does that mean going forward? NFL recap as well. What else went on in the NFL from the Titans to the Titans to the Titans? Oh, the Cowboys, y'all. We might get to that at some point. But we're going to talk the important stuff. Yeah. TalkBackLive Sports later on this afternoon, 2 p.m.
2 p.m. today.
Right here on TalkBackLive Network.
TalkBackLive Network. Got a lot of things going on. Jet comes in at the tail end and says, when your neighbor is shot dead and the police leave the body lying, you could turn the music on. When the police leave the body lying there for all the community and little children to see, that's PTSD for sure.
I get that.
Yeah.
I definitely get that.
See. Okay.
Because that even a grown man, that's just something you.
Yeah, that will be devastating.
Yeah.
Indeed, I agree. GKP ends it all off. Y'all already know who it is. Hey, it's in the headlines today, folks. That's where it's at. Hey, thanks for being with us and joining us today. We'll be back again tomorrow to do it all over again. This show, Talkback Live Sports this afternoon, 2 to 3. So don't miss it right here on the best network anywhere, Talkback Live Network. All right, that's going to do it for us today. We'll see you tomorrow on this particular stadium, Talkback Live with Bob and John. Have a wonderful day today. If you're looking for some of the best old-fashioned burgers and cakes in town, Lotta Burger is the place to go for all of your favorites. Lotta Burger, 2260 South 3rd, Memphis, Tennessee, 901-946-2001. They're open Monday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 6:45 p.m. And the items on their menu include single, double, triple burgers, Philly sandwiches, smoked sausage, beef hot dogs, grilled cheese, tenders, fries, onion rings, and more. Call-in orders must be done before 11 a.m. No calls accepted after 11 a.m. Drive-thru is available. Hungry for a burger? Lotta Burger, 2260 South 3rd, Memphis, Tennessee, 901-946-2001. Don't just settle for any burger. Get a Lotta Burger.
Are you tired of going to the doctor with the same issue over and over again and never getting any relief? Are you tired of buying all types of vitamins and supplements, hoping but not knowing for sure that they will keep you healthy? Or are you getting enough of the right kind of nutrients that your specific body needs? If you answered yes to any of these questions, you need a nutritional blood analysis. With a nutritional blood analysis, we can take one drop of blood from a prick of your finger and analyze your body's nutritional needs, nutritional deficiencies, and nutritional imbalances. This analysis can provide an early warning of possible future health challenges so you can make the changes now to avoid the negative outcome. A nutritional blood analysis can be used to monitor a health challenge before and after adopting an approach to restore health and balance. It will also allow you the ability to determine the effectiveness of various approaches to restoring and balancing your health. So don't wait. Make your appointment. Stop guessing with your health. Know what works for sure. 901-602-7063.
Big Graphic Printing, located at 890 East Range Road in Memphis, a complete print shop for all your printing needs. They do it all. Color copy, resumes, funeral programs, rubber stamp, full color business cards, wedding and graduation invitations, and more. 30 plus years of quality work and service. They're open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Located at 890 East Range Road in Memphis, Tennessee, 901-345-9294. C Graphics Printing. CJU's Appliances, located at 3530 Jackson Avenue here in Memphis, Tennessee. Call them at 901-487-7882. CJ Used Appliances has the best prices in town. Sales and service, heating and air. Also the best appliances you'll find anywhere in the Mid-South. Refrigerators, microwave stoves, washers and dryers, deep freezers, dishwashers, whatever you need in used appliances. And folks, I'll tell you, they're the best used appliances anywhere you'll find. That's CJ Used Appliances, 3530 Jackson Avenue. All appliances come with warranty. You can call them at 901-487-7882. Again, 901-487-7882. CJ Used Appliances. C&S Motors Auto Sales, located at 2508 Summer Avenue, here in Memphis, Tennessee. Call them at 901-323-8778. C&S Motors Auto Sales has been around since 1984. Go by and see Chris today for some of the best pre-owned and used vehicles in the city. They have SUVs, minivans, cars, trucks, whatever you're looking for in pre-owned used vehicles. Hey, you can find it right there at C&S Motors Auto Sales. See Chris since 1984. They will treat you right. Call them at 901-323-8778. That's 901-323-8778. 2508 Summer Avenue, C&S Motors Auto Sales.
This is Sergeant Chris Richardson with the Tennessee Highway Patrol, here to explain the Tennessee Hands-Free Law, which is a new state law effective July 1st, 2019. In Public Chapter 412, it makes it illegal for a driver to hold a cell phone or a mobile device with any part of their body, to write, send, or read any text-based communication, to reach for a cell phone or mobile device in a manner that requires the driver to no longer be in a seated driving position or properly restrained by a seatbelt, to watch a video or a movie on a cell phone or a mobile device, and to record or broadcast video on a cell phone or mobile device. So, can I still talk on my cell phone while driving? Yes. A driver is permitted to use an earpiece, headphone device, or a device worn on a wrist to conduct a voice-based communication. The driver may use one button on a cell phone or mobile device to initiate or terminate voice communication, and voice-based communication may also be used to send a text message. Learn more at handsfreetn.com.